This is AI News Today, and here's what happened in the world of AI in the past 24 hours. And we're diving straight into the world of robotics today because some absolutely fascinating developments are happening right now. Let me start with something that might sound like science fiction, but is very real. Amazon just deployed its millionth robot in their warehouses. Think about that for a second. The world's second largest private employer now has nearly as many robots as human workers in their facilities. That's around 1 million robots working alongside about the same number of humans. What's even more impressive is that Amazon announced a new AI foundation model that's boosting their robot fleet's efficiency by 10%. Today, roughly 75% of all Amazon deliveries rely on robots in some capacity. This is a massive shift in how one of the world's largest companies operates, and it's happening right now. But here's where things get really interesting, and honestly, pretty entertaining. Beijing just hosted the world's first AI soccer tournament, and I have to say it sounds like it was quite the spectacle. Picture this. Teams of 3 AI-powered humanoid robots wobbling around a soccer field, occasionally scoring goals, but more often tumbling over each other in what can only be described as adorable chaos. University students trained these robot teams to navigate the field, track the ball, and take shots. The crowd was apparently very entertained, especially when several robots had to be carried off the field on stretchers after particularly dramatic collisions. I mean, imagine being a referee at that match, calling fouls on robots that are genuinely trying their best but sometimes just can't stay upright. Shifting gears to some serious investment news, a stealthy startup called Genesis AI just landed a massive $105 million funding round. Here's why this matters. Physical labor accounts for somewhere between $30 and $40 trillion of global GDP. But robots currently help automate only about 5% of that work. Genesis AI wants to change that dramatically by creating what they call a universal robotics model, essentially an AI system that could work with almost any robot to bring human-level intelligence into the physical world. They're backed by some heavy hitters, including Eric Schmidt and Khosla Ventures, and they're planning to make this system open source, which could accelerate robotics development across the entire industry. Now, let's talk about some of the more unexpected ways robots are entering our daily lives. At least 2 tattoo parlors in the United States are experimenting with an AI-powered device called Black Dot that can actually tattoo people. The machine uses computer vision to translate images into thousands of tiny dots that are thinner than human hair, then applies those designs to skin using lasers. What's interesting is that it reportedly has a lighter touch than human tattoo artists, which could mean less pain for customers. Another fascinating development is happening at Carnegie Mellon University, where researchers have created what they say is the first non-invasive interface that lets people control robotic hands with their minds. And I mean down to individual fingers. This could be revolutionary for people with paralysis, allowing them to perform complex tasks like typing on a keyboard without needing any surgery. The implications for people with disabilities are enormous. Speaking of mind-bending technology, a Japanese company called H2L just unveiled something that looks straight out of a sci-fi movie. It's a pod-like device that lets you control a humanoid robot from anywhere using subtle muscle movements. But here's the really cool part. The capsule sends real-time haptic feedback to your body, creating the illusion that you're actually inside the robot. This could completely transform remote work, letting people perform physical tasks from miles away while feeling like they're actually there. Let me share a few more quick developments that caught my attention this week. MIT researchers developed a new imaging technique that uses wireless signals to detect three-dimensional objects that are completely hidden from view. That's like having X-ray vision for robots. Meanwhile, Chinese firm Robotera unveiled a humanoid robot called Q5 that features 44 degrees of freedom and can react up to 10 times per second. That's incredibly fast response time for a robot. And here's a fun one to wrap up with. There's a mysterious cowboy robot roaming the streets of Austin, Texas, and nobody knows who's controlling it. This 4-foot robot calls himself Jake the Rizzbot, wears a cowboy hat and chain, and compliments people using Gen Z slang. Apparently, he's been running around telling people things like, "You got that clean drip locked down." Local news outlets are still trying to figure out who's behind this characters, but honestly, it sounds like Austin is embracing their new robotic resident. One last thing that really stood out to me. Billionaire investor Vinod Khosla predicted that robotics will have its own ChatGPT moment within the next 2 to 3 years. Given everything we've covered today, from Amazon's million robots to AI soccer matches to mind-controlled robotic hands, I think we might be closer to that moment than we realize. That's it for today. Make sure to like, subscribe, or follow, and see you tomorrow for more AI news.